We'll have the two national anthems of both Fiji and France live from College Rifles in Auckland.
Can we please be up for the national anthems?
One of the world's great national anthems. Very familiar here in New Zealand. So looking forward to this, Stephen Harris. A lot of anticipation. The moment is almost upon us.
Yeah, both of these teams spent a long time pre-match out on the paddock. In fact, the Fijians went in very late and they looked very, very focused for this match.
And very nation, a very much a faith-based nation, Fiji. And they just look to the heavens. They're going to play into a very strong breeze. It will be Annie May, the fly half for Fiji, will get things underway. That's one thing the French have been good at.
It's cold breathing in the dark. Take me on, only you there.
New Zealand team gone away, did a lot of work since. But settle back. 80 minutes of some of the best rugby you will see. And we are underway. And does go the 10 metres. And it's a knock-on from the kick-off. Good kick-off, but just showing Stephen immediately just how strong that breeze is. She put a lot into that. Barely got the 10 metres, hung up in the breeze.
Yeah, it wasn't a bad sort of kick at the end of the day. It actually got her forwards in the contest, just a little bit unfortunate, just knocking that ball on.
Yeah, I just wonder whether we'll see the French look to play some territory, look to try and just play these Fijians down in their own 22 and then look to just be a bit more direct. Both sides do love the contact. So opportunity here for the halfback for France. Outstanding player Romero and Jody May Romero. France have their backline set both ways. Good first up scrum from the French. And they go off the back through their big ranging number 8. Good first up barnstorming run from Margier. Need to support the ball carrier. French get there. Good fast ruck ball. Oh, big hit, and that's what we talk about. How do we look? Sula, and absolutely smashed and monstered by their big tight head prop, Marama. Wow, crowd loving that. Well, that certainly brought everybody alive. Have a look here. Smash, perfect tackle. Wow.
Wow, Solia did not see that coming. Miriana Marama making an early statement for this Fijian team. Now, this is something they can hang their head on.
Now, that will just put all of the French players on notice. I wonder how much of a psychological blow, if we see more of those, at what point it just starts to live rent-free inside of the French players' heads. So scrum half for Fiji is Taranuthi. So good scrum coming from the French, but Fiji managed to say it. Now they look to try and run. Beats one, beats two. Lovely little step back on the inside, but hands leading the Fijians down. And suddenly the turnover goes the way of France. Do they look to try and exit here? Do they play direct? Happy to go one or two off the ruck. Under advantage here for France. So Fiji up offside. Now they look to try and play quickly. Lovely running, great interplay. Big bustling run coming from their number 8. The overlap on for France. The tackle needs to be made. Boy, that was good from Clémence Ripin for France. So already both sides showing plenty of enterprise. This time, Labib takes it. Heavy contact on her. They'll come the short side. This time, just no accuracy. And so, what does the referee say here? Penalty. Fiji up offside. One behind them. Do you take the 3, Stephen Harris? Do you keep that scoreboard ticking over?
Oh, I think you make it. You take the points that are on offer. This is a very, very kickable penalty for the player of Kude's class. I'd expect her to knock this over, but boy, the lead-up play to this particular penalty was very impressive from the French.
Yeah, wonderful play, enterprising run, big run coming from Raipin, the French number 8. She's been everywhere today. They've used her nicely off the back of the scrum at set piece.
Yeah, as I previously said, they brought some of their heavy hitters. Ripon, she started off the bench in the previous game and she's made an immediate impact.
So Kuder looking for the 3 points. And straight between the uprights, the flag scarp. It is France leading Fiji 3-0. Semi-final of the first ever International Defence Rugby competition. And formerly the first Defence Force Rugby World Cup. The men have been doing it for some time and hosted every 4 years in the nation that hosts the Rugby World Cup, and this is now the starting point for the women. And what a good standard of rugby it has been. So, Annie May will need to go deep from the kick-off. Again, holds up in that breeze. And a mistake comes from the French, so knock on from the kick-off. They pick it up, though, the Fijians. Referee says, no, come back, blowing the whistle. We'll have the scrum. But both sides just struggling. And who's going to be the first to really understand how they can use this breeze to their advantage?
It is very tricky. It's coming from looks like the south or west corner of the ground, so it's not blowing directly down the ground. So any of the catches it will affect.
So just looking at the two scrums, you can just see that Fijian breeze. The Fijian flag in the background on the breeze, and they're getting set is that impressive Raipin. The French number 8, the Fijian number 8 is Siata. Very athletic, loose forward trio for Fiji with Noraketi, and they'll get the penalty. So that's a good scrum from the Fijians. They look to tap, they look to try and go quickly. Love little step off that right foot. They get there, numbers quickly. They want quick ruck ball. Get that ruck speed, almost breaks through the first tackle, but eventually the tackle is made. Fiji, they've got numbers, both sides. If they decide to go left or right, they'll come out to the right-hand side. Looking to play more direct, that's good. Earning the right to go wide now, the Fijians. They do, they come through this brilliant midfield combination, but a little bit loose on the pass. Got to stay awake though, the Fijians, almost from that poor pass. We saw the French break out through the great Stephanie Monet, but coming back, will play the penalty. So French up offside is the ruling.
What I have enjoyed about these first few phases from the Fijians, they just appear to be a more patient than they have in previous games, just waiting to set up their runners, get them in the right position. Fiji, that's exactly what they've decided to do. They've decided to take the quick tap and go. Not mucking around.
No, well, it's into a very tough breeze, so they will come out this time. Oh, good combination play being played between both Nambura and Kandavu, the two locks. Great to see Fiji really looking to use their forwards too to get across that advantage line. Another very good tackle, this time from the fullback Gorgout for France. And earning the right. So Fiji not releasing. France getting their fetches, staying on their feet, challenging at the breakdown. Very well drilled, the French. With that win behind, finds touch. Line out to the French, halfway between their own 22 and the halfway line.
Galatau, she's been one of the impressive players in this particular tournament. And once again, the rangy flanker, very good over the ball, getting that turnover. Fiji just have to be careful every time they go to these wider channels. France very quick to the breakdowns.
And I'd say that's okay. So now looking for that rolling maul. Happy to go through the hooker. Suliat. Fiji, happy just to not really commit too many numbers at the moment. Faris to France, play it on. So now they look to bring their backs and set their back line nice and deep. Another good tackle. France, someone needs to straighten it up. Going nowhere at the moment. So they go back through their Galato, their captain, but she is absolutely monstered. And so France struggling to get across that advantage line. Now they kick, lovely little bit of strategic play. Oh, that's good play from the fly half, Emma Kudia. We talk Stephen Harris, the benefit of having that win behind you and who's going to use it strategically. Great demonstration.
Oh, Kudia, well, she's a very intelligent footballer, whether via the boot or option taking, and once again, a very, very classy option from this first five, just pushing Fiji back into their territory.
Well, they've found a formula out. Got to exit. They're not going to get it by the looks of it, being direct, looking to run it out. Play the kicking game, use the wind while you've got it. So line out, over the back, but the referee says that's okay. Who picks it up? A little bit of a knock on. Which way does the scrum go? And it will go the way of the French. So chance here for France. I saw the French break out earlier. That sort of reminded me of the famous try, the try they called the try from the end of the world, Jean-Luc Sardonnat.
Some great play from the skipper there, Mark Galato, getting up in front of the Fijian jumper and just forcing the hooker just to throw a little bit deeper and not so straight.
Yeah, I wonder whether we'll see the Fijians go to the front of the line out. We've seen a lot of that from sides who have struggled a bit at line out time. So halfback, Romero. Ripen there. That will be Ripen. But Romero, happy this time. Good pass. Through the hands now, the French looking to try and run straight, but absolutely tackled Cerise Moulin. But forward pass, so that combination between Moulin and Margier just hasn't quite clicked yet. Just overrunning it slightly.
Definitely got a different feel, the semi-final, hasn't it?
Yeah. I just still wonder whether France's best route is direct. I think what we've seen through the first 10 minutes is just how good this Fijian defence is. They're up flat at times, but they also have that sliding defence. And so far, we really haven't seen the French backs make too many inroads. Now, big scrum here for Fiji. Want to try and hold these French forwards in, look to go one-on-one out wide. They want quick ball, but great scrum. They walk straight over the top of it, and scrum penalty will go the way of the French. That is superb from Labib, Soulier, and Adacastre, the front row for the French. And they'll take another 3 points, surely. And that'll extend that lead out to 6. It is in front.
Yeah, good tactics from the French to take the 3. There's everything to play for and more to gain. And on the back of what was a very, very good scrum. Good comeback. We've seen a good battle thus far, but it just appears that the French just getting on top.
Well, it also just reinforces, and we see it a lot in international. Yes, it's not about having the heavier forward back. You've got to be technically good. And that's why you see so many technical experts and coaches brought in purely for set piece, purely for scrum time. And puts it wide, so, well, that's disappointing for Emma Cordo. She's better than that, she'll know it too. So, Fiji. Now, what do they do here? The Fijians into this very, very strong wind. How do they exit? Do they play percentages and look to go deep? Or do they try a bit of trickery? No, good percentage kick-off from the 22. Another big ranging run coming from Gasparo. Romero. Gorgu up to their number 6, just has a wee look though. Audrey Baru this time guilty of the hands on it. And I think that is part of the Fijian defence here, and just how big some of the hits have been, how big some of the tackles are. Just had a wee look, didn't she?
Yeah, she did, and unfortunately the pass, she just had to reach a little bit behind, and that was really enough just to lose concentration. But I suspect you're right, maybe just having a little bit of a look. We can think of that early shot early in the game. I think some of these French forwards will be looking around.
Oh, we saw a little bit of pushing and shoving, a little bit of niggle, which is always, I quite enjoy it. It's a gladiatorial game, and there's always going to be a little bit of that. And there's so much pressure on both teams, isn't there? This is a big occasion. So they'll come back. They will play the scrum. The very impressive number 13, Tuvo. T9, the inside centre. Tuvo, good combination. Plenty of pace out wide with Male. The left wing, Korawanga. And Kokotavalu, the fullback. Now, Fiji just need to get a little bit lower here. Need to get the ball out quickly. The French will have confidence. They'll be up on a high. The ball goes in this time. Good from the Fijians. They managed to prevent the tight head. France up offside, so Fiji playing under advantage. Half back. Taranuthi still managing to stay on her feet. They'll come back. They'll play the penalty. Now I think this is the second penalty. And just a little bit of back chat. Referees have been tough on that. And now the Fijians, oh, look at that, 1-2, big bustling run coming from Tuvo. She goes to ground now quickly. The Fijians come out to the left-hand side through their hooker, Koi. They need quick ruck ball. They find it, happy to play direct. Another big barging run coming from Fukoto. France, though, setting up their defence nicely. Back through their open side flanker, Noraketi. Oh, the little chip through, held back, was it? Referee says no, play on. So chance here for the fullback, Gorgu. Will be a dropout from the 22. They'll have the benefit of the win behind them, but good enterprising play from the Fijians, looking to try and just turn this flat French defence.
Yeah, good option there from Fiji, just breaking it up, and will keep this French team guessing.
Looking to go out to one side. They see a weakness. That ball has gone backwards. But it is France from the dropout who have the knock-on advantage. So good smart thinking from the French. Lovely little pick and go here from Galato. But referee says no, we'll come back, we'll play the scrum. Interesting there that they decided to kick to the left wing, Paulini Korawanga. I wonder whether they feel that perhaps under the high ball, that's perhaps not her strength in her game.
Yeah, a lot of both these teams struggling with the windy conditions at the minute. Unfortunate for Fiji, because I thought that was an opportunity. But we go to the set piece scrum. Now, the interesting thing for me is the scrummaging of Labib on the tight head side of the scrum, putting a lot of pressure on her marker, Talei Tonga.
You've got to get a lot lower, Fiji. You've got to, you know, they always talked about the great All Black Olo Brown, and that you could basically set plates and knives and forks. It was almost as flat as the dinner table.
Yeah, really smart there from Labib. She realised she didn't win the hit, so she broke out of the scrum, and they've looked to reset that again.
Yeah, we don't see a lot of reset scrums in the women's game, which is one of the real positives of it. It's a much faster, free-flowing game. But let's just see what the French do here. I would not be surprised if we might just see maybe one or two phases before You see the fly half quarter come in and look to kick, look to exit. Good scrum this time from the Fijians, but France now come back. They do. Oh, and just under huge pressure from the Fijian defence, and that's another mistake from Kordu. That is so uncharacteristic. But that is the physicality the Fijians bring. They just bring that fear factor, and of course you just have a wee look. Have a look here, nothing wrong with the pass. Just looked up.
Yeah, just basically a loss of concentration, and you know, with so much,
Scared
so much at stake.
Come straight down her,
Yeah.
straight down her lane.
Fijian supporters are happy with that.
So both captains been spoken to. Tuvo for Fiji and Galato, an open side flanker for France. I think the other thing that I love about the women's game, Stephen, is you actually see your open sides playing the old traditional way. You see your blindside flankers playing the traditional way. Where I think in the men's game at times it's hard to differentiate across all of the forwards in terms of the role they play.
Yeah, I think you take away your key roles when you've got maybe, say, two open side flankers playing both 6 and 7. Traditionally, I like a big rangy 6 who can mix it in the tight stuff and play a little bit open, go a little bit wider, and good at line-out time as well.
Okay, so chance here now for Fiji. They've had a few bit of possession. Good coming from the French, and they win another penalty. And it is Labib who continues to get the pats on the back. She's good. You talked about it, Steve Harris, the pressure that she's been putting on Tele Tonga. And she is dominating. And it's about getting that hit, as you mentioned.
Yeah, she's, if you're looking for an MVP, she'd be in your top 3 in this tournament, whether it's been at scrum time, carrying the ball, or defensively. Labib been so impressive for this French team. Really important that they keep her on the field, but like I say, putting a lot of pressure on her opposite Tale Tonga.
I've got to say, I've been impressed by Fiji. We saw them against the United Kingdom win it in the last few minutes, but their discipline, they were blowing off the park, up offside. They weren't rolling away at the tackler wasn't a rolling away. They were sealing off at the breakdown today. They haven't committed as many numbers to the breakdown or the ruck, and they're playing a lot better, Fiji. And the longer this game goes on, the more concerned the French will become at not scoring points from the amount of possession they've had. So we've seen a yellow card. Might be in a high tackle. Might just see if we've got a replay of that.
Not really what Fiji required at this stage. 17 minutes in, they've been travelling reasonably well. France with that win behind them. But, you know, we spoke about discipline as we see the replay again.
Have a look here. It's okay there. Okay through there. I think it's beyond this if the penalty comes. So referee's happy with everything to that point. It's from this phase. Just have a wee look. Just been off camera, I think, or a late shot. Might have just been that late shot coming in. So chance here for the French to find some good territory. And they do. They have a line out just inside the Fijian half on the 10-metre line.
I can understand Fiji's enthusiasm, but it's just something that they're just going to have to rope in a little bit.
They do go. It's all messy, but Fiji, have they turned possession over? No. France with the ball, another poor pass, but referee says play on. Come out to the left, another little darting run on the short side. They've got the Ovant Labib, they need to go around the legs to tackle her. She's a barnstorming runner, but can't find the runner on the inside. So Fiji scramble back. This is where they're dangerous from broken play. And they look to try and kick into a very tough wind. Gargou comfortably under the ball for the French. Lovely little step off the right foot. Looking to try and avoid the traffic. Finds her blindside flanker, Baru. And Baru driven into touch. Well, not sure that was necessarily the best option. And the Fijians look to take the line out quickly. Kick across the field, an aimless kick. But a knock on. Well, Fiji, we talked about it. We said about the French having to make sure that if you're going to kick, you're strategic in it, the outcome goes your way. Fiji have to do the same against France. They were lucky, but not the smartest play when you camp deep inside your 22.
Yeah, 2 kicks that haven't found touch, or more importantly, I suppose, that really haven't really gone anywhere, but, you know, a French infraction just lets Fiji off the hook.
Okay, now, what will France here? Fiji will not want to give away a penalty or a tight head. We've seen this French forward pack go very close to walking over this Fijian forward pack. So the number 8 for Fiji is Siata. We've got Notaketi and Vokoto are the 2 loose forwards. The locks are Nambura and Kandavu. Another big scrum coming from the French, this time Fiji, but referee says no. So a real issue is going to need to be addressed at half-time. Fiji, they're going to need to make some changes because this is just one area where France are just dominating. Now, they take the 3 points on offer. This is interesting because they've got their breeze behind them, but their captain, Kudir, has said no, let's kick for touch, let's take the line out. So maybe just a little bit outside of her range. Yep,
probably that set-piece line-out has been operating reasonably well. And listen, don't be surprised if this doesn't go too far further than the forward pack.
Well, it's like anything, isn't it? The further the ball's got to travel, the more room it's got to for the wind to pick it up or to lose its accuracy. But they do go deep, so what do we know? Commentators curse. And now, good play from Fiji. But France get there. Absolutely monstered in defence, though, once again. Fiji just need to take their player to ground, so that is Magier for France. And now Fiji get to their feet, happy to come out to the short side. Man up, good barging run from Ripon, the French number 8. And now arm goes outside a penalty advantage. They'll come down the short side, the little chip from the first 5, but too much on that, so they'll come back, they'll play the penalty. But good enterprise there being played by the fly half Kordu.
Just starting to see the influence of the tight head prop Labib. Couple of impressive carries, and once again, this time a nice little offload.
Well, they need to bring her into play though, don't they? They need to set it up a little bit around her. You know, and even try and play her a little bit more on the loose. Just give her that little bit of room. Put her one-on-one with some of the outside backs. But easier said than done. So, good touch finder. Real opportunity now for the French. But as we said, Stephen, the longer this game goes, and the longer France go without scoring points, the more Fijians become favourites, in my opinion, because they will at some point strike. Too good not to. Too much flair. This time they do go to the front of the line out, but not straight. So the wind playing havoc with both teams. How often as we see France in this Fiji's 22 and haven't been able to convert?
This is going to be a tough one for Fiji, this scrum, remembering they are down a forward. As we see that line out again this time. Looked like it just went straight down the French side.
This time Fiji do find their tight heel prop. Mavama, look to try and come back, and they will kick, and this time a better kick into tough breeze, but still haven't found touch. And now Gorgu, lovely little step, looks for the right wing, finds her, cut escape. Just to try and go on the outside, but wrapped up comfortably. Fiji get there, the fetchers, but the cleaners for France now arrive. Referee says that's okay. Fiji, you've got to be careful they don't come in from the side. And Another barnstorming run from the fullback Cascade. Screaming for it is the lock Gasparo. But this time France guilty of not releasing at the breakdown, so good forward play by Fiji.
It'll be frustrating for the French, having plenty of attacking opportunities in the red zone in the last few minutes and not taking them.
Well, we're sitting in a team here and it's almost like sails, such as the breeze that is behind this French team. You can just see how Fiji are struggling to kick, but the bounce goes their way. They managed to find it through their hooker though, Souliard, the French hooker. They set it up now for France. Back through. Another penalty. And so remember, Fiji already down to 14 players. I might just see if we can have a look at the replay here and just have a look at what did happen at the breakdown, because it is the French hooker, Souliard, who has taken a knock.
Yeah, once again, a clearing kick that's getting Fiji into trouble once again, and they're just gifting this French team too much possession. I often say rugby's about field position and territory.
Well, I think what they need to do, okay, let's just have a look here first and see what the penalty is for. A little bit of a shove in the back. I'm not sure that's why the arm went out. It's here. That's okay. It might have been just on the ground. The injury has come.
It's probably a high tackle from what I can see there, that initial contact.
Well, it could have been a bit of friendly fire too, though, couldn't it? Just from your own players coming down. Yeah, I just wonder whether you're going to exit for Fiji, whether they just need to take the tap, look to bring it either left or right, create a short side and then kick to touch.
Shortest distance to the touchline, obviously, they say, if you're playing into the wind.
They go to the front of the line out, knock back. So France retain possession, turn it over now. So another big tackle from the Fijians. This is where they are dangerous. They just need to hold on to it, the Fijians here. They need to build some phases. They love the contact. Got to be another little show and go. Reminds you back of the days of Sid Going, the great Northland halfback. And here is Gagu, and Gagu this time. Oh, lovely kick from Gagu. Well, that has turned defence into offence, and suddenly France, well, they found themselves inside their own half, and now they are 10 metres out from the Fijian line.
Gorgu, we've seen how impressive she has been with the ball in hand, but also showing she's got a very cultured kicking game.
50-20, I think, was it?
Yeah, 50-22.
50-22, and therefore it will be thrown to France. And they do take it quickly, the French. Off the top of the line, out they go. Fiji driving through the middle, though. And it is the Fijians who somehow have turned possession again. So they're going to go, okay, so hands in the ruck this time is the ruling.
Gee, I'll tell you what, the French head coach Nicolas Bonnet-Pedon, he'd be pulling his hair out at the minute. All this attacking opportunities that the French are really not taking, and they're keeping Fiji in the game.
14 minutes to go. It is France leading Fiji by 3 points to nil, semi-finals of the first ever international defence rugby competition. A big bonjour, a bonsoir, and a bulla. And we welcome everybody in throughout the Pacific Islands, courtesy of Pacifica Television. Big shout out to the people of Singatoka in Fiji, the Coral Coast, one of my favourite places, as we see a big drive now coming from Marama, the French tight head. Big ranging run from this very good 7, Naraketi. France managed to get it to ground, but good ruck speed from Fiji. Now they look to try and kick. This time it's along the ground, but striking stroke or go this time with a little knock on. So it comes off for the Fijians. She's good, Gagu. Just again had another little look. Boy, again, I'm not sure that was the best option from the Fijians. You do not kick to this lady. She is quality. She's been fantastic for France so far, Gagu.
Yeah, there'll be some real sense of frustration with these French players as we see Gagu just the bounce of the ball on the synthetic surface.
Well, the French will be back in their scrum here, though, won't they? Look at that wind. And so that is directly behind this French team. And just 12 minutes to really utilise that remaining in this first half. Hope you are enjoying coverage. Mark Watson alongside of me, the voice of the Taniwha, Northland's finest, and Stephen Harris. Oh, no reset, one of the few reset scrums we will see. I mean, you're Northland's finest, aren't you, Stephen?
I'd like
shout out for the Taniwha.
Oh, absolutely. Good season from the Tunnies.
And I just want to say too, we're often drawing comparisons to the men's game, but we do that with the greatest respect. Clearly, there's a bigger legacy internationally with the men's game, and so some of the great players, we are just comparing some of these players to them, and it is done with the greatest of respect, and we just love French rugby, and the way the men have historically played the game is now with the way we've seen the French play the game too. And boy, they've always played wonderful rugby, the French. I think New Zealand never had a problem losing to the French because we know that they play the way we like to play too. Big scrum coming, another penalty. So you talk about the frustration for the French coaching staff. I'd imagine the coaching staff of Fiji will be equally frustrated by this aspect of the game. Yeah,
very much. We know what a good attacking back division they've got, but they just haven't been able to set any sort of platform at scrum time. The French definitely dominant in this facet.
Been some wonderful Fijian players over the years. I was lucky enough to go to school with a gentleman by the name of Alfred Ulianayao, who scored that great try against France in the '99 Rugby World Cup, and great Waisaki Serevi, arguably the greatest sevens player of all time.
Brilliant attacking position, really, isn't it? Middle of the field, can split your backs both ways.
Look at just how deep the French have set their back line. Boy, they are a long way back. They're going to need to make sure that, this is where we see Emma Corder. She needs to be a running first five. Good scrum coming from the Fijians. This time it's Fiji who reverse the roles. I felt maybe the referee could have just let that go a little bit longer, and they'll take the quick tap now through their big number 8. Another wayward pass. France up offside, so still playing under advantage. So we'll come back and more talk, more discussion. In fact, I think we're just getting the call from the touch judge. No, we do want to play the original infringement. They're not going to kick here. They'll go back through their very impressive halfback, Taranuthi. Interesting that they're going to try and kick for touch, and Taranuthi does find touch, so be a line out to Fiji. And France is 22. Now, do they go to the front of the line out here, Fiji? I'm surprised. I'm not sure that this has been the strength of theirs so far in this game.
Yeah, surprised they actually went for the line out, but I suppose it does kill a little bit of time.
Well, it also just draws those forwards in, doesn't it? Allows you to have that one-on-one out wide. Certainly wouldn't. Their scrum hasn't been good enough today. No, French lifters lifting early. In fact, I would have thought. Yep, so free kick will come the way of the Fijians. Now expect the quick tap here. All the action will go on. They do tap. They do go up through their brilliant number 8, Siata. Brought to ground though. Now they go out to the right-hand side. Need to get their cleaners in quickly, the Fijians. They do. Happy just to slow it down a little bit, bring another one of their big boppers in, and this is through Marama. She beats one, she beats two, she holds it up lovely. The French, surely, the Fijians. No, they go to ground, held up 5 metres short of the line. Good scrambling defence from France. Arm goes out, Fiji under penalty advantage here. And they will take. And they take the tap quickly, looking to go one-on-one. She gets across the line, and just like that, brilliant from the Fijian halfback. That is superb from Taranuthi. Well, it's been France all day. Fiji have had limited opportunities, but they bring in their impressive backline, the likes of Tinai, Tuvo, forcing France to make tackles, simply creating the overlap. They came back, took the tap on the mark. France, well, they were shorter numbers on this left-hand side. A big ask for their number 7, Galato, to make the tackle on this very big, strong, physical halfback for Fiji, Taranuthi.
Well, there we go. We always thought if Fiji could string a few phases together, they could get on the end of something good, and that's exactly what Taranuthi has done. From the quick tap, the French knocked back 10 metres, and she snuck in there nicely. But I've got to say, there was some good lead-up work leading to that try. A couple of good carries which got them over the advantage line. Ball was moved a little bit slowly, but the French with their infraction and the quick tap.
Yeah, I think Annie May probably in that first phase, prior to the scrum being scored, prior to the penalty, probably could have shifted it wider a little bit early. She sort of held up the pass, but she was sort of going sideways rather than going forward. But this will frustrate the French. They've had a lot of territory, they've had a lot of possession, but just simply haven't been able to score points. I've got to say that the referees, one thing the referees have been very good at is once the penalty has been awarded, tap and go. Tap for the mark and go. Too often in the men's game, there's always a reason to pull it back, and I'm not sure why sometimes other than you weren't right on the mark. So, chance now for the number 12 kicking today, T9, and she does kick, but it goes across the face, and it is Fiji leading France 5 points to 3.
Conversion marks successful. 22 points in it.
France will desperately want to score before half-time here. They need to go deep. One thing Fiji have struggled with, and that is exiting, that is getting themselves out of their own 22. I don't think they go the short, but looking like they might go short here on the kickoff. No. Is it out on the full? Another knock on, so they're targeting the left wing of Fiji. Korowonga, it's twice that the ball's gone down her channel, twice that she has knocked on. Big scrum here from the French. Need to bring Ayla Beeb in here. I think they've just got to play more direct, the French. I think they've got to just set some phases up through the middle, draw the Fijian defenders in.
Yeah, I agree. Play to their strengths. They look really good when they play in those first channels. Sometimes with late drops, I mean to say, how much have we really seen of Ripon? We know what an impressive number 8 she is. And also Labib, we've seen a little bit of them, but not enough.
Yeah, the right wing for France too is Kataskate. So they possibly look to go down that blind side. A short side. Hope you are enjoying coverage. This is the International Defence Rugby Competition semi-final. Fiji, France, the winner of this will take on either Australia or New Zealand. That game should go at 1 o'clock this afternoon, New Zealand time. That should be a beauty too. Favoured defence ferns up against an Australian team who just simply tackled against a very good United Kingdom team. So now the French, well, this time they do get across the advantage line, but referee says again, pass went forward. Let's just have another look at the replay here of this one, Stephen Harris. It's hard from the angle to have a look.
Yeah,
this might be a better angle here.
Pretty well set from the French, but yeah, that pass there just clearly forward.
Second time that we've seen Margier and Moulin not quite connect.
Well, that's the thing about it. They play such a one-channel game, the French, that when they do play a little bit more open, but just not enough sort of time in the saddle, or they don't probably pull enough moves for my liking.
Well, this game reminds me very much of the first game against the defence ferns, the New Zealand team. They had a lot of possession front. Just don't seem to have perhaps that one X-factor player out wide that just seems to be able to bust a game open. Fiji this time, quick tap, good smart play again, showing the consistency from the referee. Lovely little run from Romero, the halfback. So France now have the ascendancy. Can they use it? What do they do? Do they look to go wide? Happy to still go wide. They do bring in their forwards though. Good run, great tackle from the Fijians. Very good tackle that time by Marama, the tight head prop. Now the French, they'll come out to the blind side. Chance now for Ayla B. How you tackle her is how you tackle Jonah Loma. You go round the ankles. France, they go to ground. Chance here, Fiji camped on their own line, 5 metres out from the Fijian line of France. They'll go through their big ranging loose forward Baru, but she is held up. Now they'll go through the short side, through their very good hooker Suliard. Phase after phase. They pick and go. Body position needs to be better. Need to get lower. Now Ayla B Expect to watch the big barnstorming prop. She goes, she'll go close to the line here, and she just loses it over the line. She had it, she couldn't quite hold on, and somehow, Fiji find another way of getting themselves out of trouble. Wow, France coming so close, but just hands letting them down. Stephen Harris.
Yeah, Labib, you would have backed her to score from there. It just looks like the foot of a Fijian player just in the right place at the right time. Boy, what sort of moment in this game is that opportunity?
Well, France here will want an absolutely monster scrum. Look for the penalty, then look to reset the scrum and try and go off the back. Or look to even just go. Just pick and go either side. So big scrum here in the context of this match for the Fijians. This has been a real area of weakness so far through this first 38 minutes for Fiji. Just get the ball underneath the hooker's foot, get it out quickly. That'll be the message. And again, you mentioned it earlier, of Ayla Beeb. If she doesn't feel that she's going to get that hit in her favour, she just stands back up and says, let's reset.
Yeah, smart footballer, and she'd be pretty filthy. She missed out on that try as well, so I'm pretty sure she'll be putting a lot of pressure on her opposite.
I think you're right. I think a Fijian foot just got on the way there. It just shows, isn't it, the elite level, it comes down to less than 0.01% in performance. Not much in it. And now, no, hooker pops up. This time, wow, this is an interesting ruling. Happy to tap and go. This is a good way of exiting for Fiji. To set up the phases. Good to see the French on their feet looking to fetch. Referee says happy now. They've got to clear it though, Fiji. Not a great pass. Fiji under all sorts of pressure. But they look to now kick. Gargou for France. Looking to try and come back. Ball goes backwards. No, referee says knock on. So we will have another scrum in favour of the French. 5 points to 3. Time running out. Still anybody's game.
A couple of areas of concern for Fiji at the halftime break. I would imagine the scrum will be discussed extensively, but also this kicking game.
I've got to say though, for Fiji, isn't it? It's really just probably scrum time's their weakness. They've tackled brilliantly. We know how good their running game is. They haven't been afraid to kick. I'd imagine that's what the Fijian coaches will be looking to address for France. Well, it's hard to put your finger on it, but it just appears to me just a little bit lack of X factor out wide.
And Fiji doing a France on France at breakdown especially. A lot of disruption, and it just seems to be working well for them.
Yeah, we've seen versus the game against the United Kingdom, Fiji just not committing as many numbers, just not putting bodies in a position where they can be penalised. Now good scrum this time from Fiji, pushing the French back, but they'll come away with it. They'll go down this right hand side, lovely little pass, and now their captain met in another big tackle, Emma Cordeaux. Now through Romero, who's going to take it up. They'll go through their hooker, Souliard. Romero down through the short side. Another big bustling run from the number 8 Ripon, but doesn't go anywhere. Arm goes out. Another infringement for Fiji. Another penalty. Penalty count starting to add up, going against the Fijians. And so chance now for Cordeaux to put the ball in, to touch 5-10 metres out from the Fijian line. Put the old banana kick on. Happy to take it halfway between the goal line and the 22. Well, France, they got to do it now, Stephen Harris. They've got to put points on the board before half-time.
Yeah, big moment coming up here for the both sides, actually. In Fiji in terms of defence, and France, they will want to get some points on the board.
Yeah, interesting to see their loose forwards just hanging off there. So Ripon, Galateau, you can just see them. Short line out from the French, and they will go straight to their 8, but not straight. And that is half-time, so it is Fiji leading France in the first semi-final of the International Defence Rugby competition, live from College Rifles in Auckland. We will bring you highlights very shortly here on the program, and we've got some really good interviews. We're going to hear from the Fiji Chief of Navy, Commodore Humphrey Tawaki. So both teams now going into the huddle to get their instructions. I'd imagine for Fiji it's working on their set piece. For France, well, it's about holding on to the ball. Let's go back and reflect on what has been a very good first 40 minutes. Just check on the pronunciation.
The time for our halftime show, and for your viewing pleasure, we have the girls from
Kia ora. Kia ora. Hola.
our ladies from North Harbour.
You're all set here. Give me the cue.
And so what they're going to do is showcase their athleticism. And by Limboy, underneath,
Halftime break here at the rugby, and a very happy interested spectator is the Chief of the Fijian Navy, Humphrey Tawaki. Humphrey, you got to be pleased with the way the girls are going.
Well, definitely I have. I think given the circumstances, you know, the weather and big opposition from those that have played rugby for more than 10 years, like the French Armed Forces, for us, I think we've so far so good. But you know, the girls are here to come and display their Fijian flair and the skills, and of course, you know, creating that friendship within the armed forces and within the women in the armed forces across the region and of course across the globe.
Humphrey, as we know, rugby really big part of the Fijian culture. What are your thoughts on this tournament?
Well, it's been really, really good. My thoughts are it's been long overdue. We've done the men's for the last 3 World Cups. So the initiative to start the women's defense competition must be commendable. And for those that have created this and those that have put in the resources, the effort and the time to enable the tournament to happen at this time of the year.
And of course, we know about the Fijian Sevens, the Fijian 15s, how revered the game is back in your country. But the rise of women's rugby, of Fijiana especially, isn't it fantastic?
Oh yes, of course. I think we've come a long way, but we're still not there yet. There's a lot to learn, given the limited resources that we have back home. But given the growth of women's rugby and the priority that World Rugby has done towards the growth of women's rugby, and of course the priorities that our government have done in providing resources, funding towards the growth of women's rugby and across all women's initiative across the country is really commendable at this time of the year, and given that we've just started playing rugby 3 years ago. Our local competition in Fiji just started 3 years ago, and to be playing at the Rugby World Cup, you know, is extraordinary.
I was going to say, of course, Armed Forces Rugby has played a real massive part in Fijian rugby overall as well.
Yes, they have. You know, rugby is definitely a key component of how we keep the morale of our troops up. You know, a winning culture is always good for the military. You create that culture, you create that eagerness that you cannot be second best. You must always win. You must give your best in everything that you do, and that is always part of the military culture.
Just before I just get a prediction on the second half, just want to quickly speak about a famous win for the Fijian team at the World Cup on Sunday. How good was that received back in the country?
I think the commentators at 1 minute ago had said that it's only going to take a miracle, but it's not a miracle. Then I think it's playing full 80 minutes of rugby. That is all about the game of rugby. But it was, you know, from where we were to where we are now, it's just something that we have to be proud of what our women have achieved so far.
Oh, it's fantastic, yeah. But almost like the maybe the Fijian girls out here today don't need the hand of God, but what's your prediction in the second half? They got a nice little breeze behind them.
I think that breeze behind us will probably do us the favours.
Awesome. Listen, Humphrey, thank you very much for your time. Nisambula Benaka, thank you very much for your time. And yeah, we're looking forward to a real exciting second half here at College Rifles. Can't wait.
Naka, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, brother. Awesome.
Yeah, lovely to have so many dignitaries from around the world here watching some wonderful rugby. It is a celebration of rugby. It is also a celebration of unity and the Defence Forces across the Pacific, our friends in France and the United Kingdom, and of course a celebration between the Navy, the Army and the Air Force. It is the second half is about to get underway of the first semi-final between the mighty Fiji and the fabulous French. It is Fiji leading France 5-3. Mark Watson alongside of me, the voice of the Taniwha, Stephen Harris. So we get set, get play back underway through Emma Cordeur, who Stephen Harris, I'm going to suggest, needs to get herself a little bit more involved, needs to just perhaps run at the line a bit more and have those runners coming off her shoulder.
Certainly do. Good start from the French.
Yeah, Ayla Beeb. So looking to just go and goes out. France saying, hey, look, they're sealing off here, the Fijians. Fiji are arguing they're not releasing the ball, but Ayla Beeb now, this is it. We talked about maybe just the pick and go, being a little bit more direct, earning that right. And I think the way the forwards are setting up here, we're going to see more of that. They are happy to be a lot tighter. And now good driving play coming from France. Fiji not committing numbers to the tackle though, to the breakdown. Happy just to stand back, make sure they're tight around the fringes. The French will come down. Lovely little kick through, chance here for France for their winger, but Fiji get back and now they look to try and break out, look to try and score a try from the end of the world, but a no-look pass, and they go straight back into the hands of Cordeaux. She'll go to ground quickly, they'll come the short side. Pass needed to be more accurate, driving tackle from Fiji, tackling like all Fijians tackle. Hard and strong. They look to straighten, this time through Romero. No, Romero in fact back at halfback. It might have been their number 6 in fact, Baru. Another darting run from Moulin. But come back, France up offside, so playing under advantage.
Well, they've come out with a lot of purpose in the second half. There's a lot of physicality about what they're doing, playing in those tighter channels, what we spoke about, and just creating a little bit of space for Fiji. They'll just have to be a bit careful with their discipline once again.
Yeah, well, I tell you what, France can score here now, suddenly take it out to 8-5. You know, then Fiji will start asking themselves a few questions. Always want to be that team to score first after half-time. Throw, though, by France not accurate. A little bit of a knock on, so scrum will go the way of Fiji. It'll be interesting now, first scrum that we've seen, Stephen Harris, what adjustments the Fijian forward coaches have made, what they're asking of their Fijian forward pack. Just have a look here. So okay there, just that little knock on. But big scrum now coming for the Fijians. Not sure that they've rung any changes. Still Tonga, Koi and Marama are the front row for Fiji.
Get a good view of this left-hand side in this half.
Yeah, so straight in, another good driving. They got it out quickly, Fiji, so maybe that's the strategy. Just get it in under the hooker's foot, get it out quickly. Now, it is France who have been turned around. They look to try and break out themselves, but good chase. Let's just go back though. Out on the full, is it? Was that the call?
No, it looks like he might have got some of those Fijian players ahead of the kicker.
Oh no, penalty goes the way of France, but referee says no, come back, take it from the mark. I actually wonder whether France just tap and go here and play a little bit more loose. Unless they believe they can
think the scrum's the option.
Yeah, this close to the line? No, yeah, absolutely. We can just see that wind in the background. So big scrum here for France. I'd like to see Gargou maybe coming in, maybe a little bit closer, running in perhaps on the shoulder of Cordeaux. He's got a good step on it. Possibly seeing the left wing Stephanie Nanai just running the cutter from the short side. I think they've just got to maybe look to try and be a little bit more creative, the French.
I suspect this is not going to go to the halfback. I think this is going to stay in the scrum for some reason.
Yeah, expect to see Ripen off the back here. No, it'll go through the halfback. They do look to run. We talked about Cordeaux getting herself involved a little bit more, taking it to the line. Just asking a few questions this time. Ayla Beeb, the great French tight head prop, hands letting her down. Such a devastating runner, still playing under advantage. And let's see how long the referee plays that advantage for. To me, once I think you get over the advantage line, the advantage should be over. And now Fiji do use the wind and they do look to try and kick. They go long. It is their left winger who's looking to have a run. Lovely little step. Or is it Gargou? It might have been Gargou. Back inside to the French captain, Cordeaux. This is better from the French. Making some valuable metres. They continue to come out the short side, but just has a wee look. This time the inside centre, Margier, who can't quite hang on to it.
Yeah, nothing wrong with the pass from the halfback, right in the bread basket, but just had a little bit of a look at her options in front of it.
Oh, she did. She saw the flanker, Galateau, the captain, suddenly running initially on her inside shoulder and then to come around and create the overlap on her outside. And she was thinking about the pass. Well, nothing in it, Stephen Harris.
No, not a lot in it, but once again, the scrum for the Fijian team, very important. Important that they utilise this wind and get some field position.
Yeah, we haven't really seen that Fijian backline come into it, have we? Yet not from open, broken play, and that is the danger. Good crowd starting to build here too. Plenty of noise for the Pacific Island teams, and we do welcome everyone in across the Pacifica, courtesy of Pacifica TV. And now big scrum coming from the French. The walk over here surely must be a penalty. No. France happy to pick up and go. And big barging run again from Ripen. Goes to ground. Immediately through Romero. Hooker, slow ball low. On the back foot, going nowhere. Driven back once again is Margier. Fiji arguing they've got rights. No, arm goes out. Advantage to the French. I just wonder too, Stephen Harris, whether possibly we see Romero maybe kick from the base into the swirling breeze. Another little chip and chase through. Now, this is where Fiji can be lethal from this broken play. Good chase though from the French. Getting there now, the French. Fiji going to have to get that ball out. Not rolling away. I'm not sure she could get out of there, but out of the rules of rugby, tackler must roll away this time. The right wing, Karaskay, penalised. Well, you've got a feel for Karaskay, a little bit unlucky.
Yeah, Fiji, I think a little bit fortunate there. They didn't have a lot of numbers at that breakdown. So to me, fortunate to get the penalty, but an opportunity to relieve some pressure.
Yeah, I just wonder though, Stephen, we've talked about it, haven't we? France, they just haven't been able to get through this brick wall, this defence of Fiji. Do you kick from the base of the scrum? Do you put it up into the swirling breeze? Do you put the back three of Fiji under a little bit of pressure? We've seen that particularly the left wing, Korawanga at times, her hands have let her down this time. Short line out from the Fijians. And they bustle up through the middle, Fiji. Another barnstorming run coming from Laraketi, their number 7, their open side. Acting at halfback is their captain, Annie May. But France up offside. Chance comes through their very good halfback, Taranuthi, the try scorer in the first half. So Taranuthi playing like a bustling centre. Good one up running here. This is good from the Fijians. Phase after phase. Got to keep it tight though. Looking, surveying their options. France standing back. Happy to allow the ball runner come to the end. Don't want to get involved in a physical contest at the moment. And so Tonga drives back up. They'll come back though. They'll play the penalty. Well, that's good play from Fiji, managing to string some phases together.
Yeah, some good play from Fiji. Just supporting the ball carrier much better, therefore recycling the ball. And it's France this time that give away the penalty.
So replacement forward on for Fiji, and this is Litia Marama. So 2 Maramas in this Fijian team. So they have replaced the hooker Kui. I just wonder whether that might be to do with scrum time and set piece. So Fiji will call a shorten line out. Want to play the percentages here. They'll go deep. Not tidy. Knock on though from Fiji initially. So it'll be a French scrum.
Yeah, both these teams not enjoying this these breezy conditions here at College Rifles.
Yeah, but that's why you practice in all conditions, don't you? Because you never know what you're going to get on game day. You get a storm and it can be -10 and you think, well, let's go indoors, and then arguably the game of your life in the future could end up being played in similar conditions. So both sides will have had the benefit of playing with the wind behind them, and arguably possibly the benefit of playing into the wind, depending on the style they're wanting to play. And so free kick to the French. They'll tap it. They'll go quickly through Romero. She looks to try. I'm not sure Fiji will back the 10. And the arm does go out, so advantage to France. Chance here now to just take a chance. Still like to. Now they'll go through Ayla B. Beats 1. Continues. Beats 2. Still goes. Off the short side. Through their captain, Galato. And now Gagu injects herself into the back line. Another good tackle from Fiji. Up flat the Fijians. And arm goes out again, so knock on. Scrum to France.
Yeah, once again, plenty of space. They've got this big open space on this right-hand side or our side of the pitch. I'd love to see Marie Gagu involved somehow, some way with a little bit of space. Just seems to me that she's got the X factor in this French team. Got footwork, got a step. And, you know, if you were naming a tournament team, she'd go very close to making it.
Yeah, I know you definitely have a number of players there. Ayla Beeb, Gorgu, I think would be 2 players you'd look at. I do like the look of the halfback Romero. And this is Romero, so France get play back underway this time. Cut out one of the runners. Not come out, but still not going forward. Now a chance. They've created the overlap. Can they find the space? Fiji scrambling nicely. This is the utility back for France, Florian Frogier. So she's on the park, number 21. And once again, Ripon, happy to carry the ball hard into contact. Open side flanker, Galato. March back a metre or so in the tackle. Romero looking to set. France, no, another knock on, another just little error, letting the French down at key times. It'll be frustrating for them. Might have been this time Pointu the French lock.
Yeah, some really good work from the French. You know, they found a bit of space, got it out to their flank, some really good footwork, but just undone by that mistake.
It's been typical, though. It reminds me very much of the Fiji-United Kingdom game. It was United Kingdom for much of it, playing probably the more structured rugby, probably having much more of the possession, but just not being able to score because the Fiji defence has been so good and so physical. And then the Fiji have just worn their opponents down. The small chances they've had, they've turned into points.
Yeah.
And it's starting to look a little bit more like that again. And the longer this game goes, the more it goes in favour of Fiji.
And you do wonder, and you do wonder if Fiji had this much ball, if the roles were reversed. Boy, scoreline could be anything.
Yeah, well, I think Fiji will be happy that this is a much improved performance right across the park than what we saw against the United Kingdom. They absolutely smashed Australia in the very first round, 60-odd points. But we didn't get to see them. It wasn't the streamed game. And talking to the Australians, they said it was just like running into a brick wall. And now it is Fiji. Now they look to need to just try and straighten this up, and they do play the direct game. At times, I just like to see the ball carrier maybe go to ground. Chance here now for the Fijians. What can they do? They'll bring in their big runners as well. Big storming run, this time from Latia Marama, the replacement hooker that's come on the park, and they go another chance. And now Fiji. This is good play. They get across the advantage line again, making the small yards, the small metres. And now they try and kick. Not the option for Fiji. They had some ascendancy, and now Gargu will look to try and break out from the French. France need to get across to the breakdown, though. Their cleaners arrive. Recycle the ball quickly now. They'll come up the short side. Chance for France. Their big number 8 again, wrapped up. Ripon, been everywhere today. Just like to see at times her body position just getting a little bit lower when she is carrying. I do apologise there for just the break in pictures. Oh, now Ayla Beeb, storming run. Just using her one off the ruck. Now, what can the French do? Do they put the little chip and chase in? They do. And Gargu says, look, let's turn the Fijians around. And so good play. And they'll find themselves halfway between the 10-metre line and the 22.
Yeah, smart play from the fullback. Case of let's just grab a little bit of field position, get back in the Fiji half and put some pressure on their line out.
Yeah, big line out for both teams. And they go short Fiji. That's good. Nice clearance from the top of the line out. Again, bring their heavy hitters in. 2 off the ruck this time. Now they look to try and bring it back. This is where they're dangerous, when they decide to play more like sevens. Take some of the structure out of the game. They like the ad hoc game. Tonga, the loose head prop, the ball carrier that time. Another lovely little pick and go, going straight up the middle, straight down Broadway. They're getting good metres, but they've turned it over. And the advantage, I think, goes the way of France as well. So the French now, they get their cleaners in. They come out to the left. They've got good momentum here. They've got the overlap if they can use it. The very good winger across there on the left-hand side for France, wrapped up in a tackle. Manet. And now, Ayla Beeb. Good tackle from Fiji. They're starting to work her out. And a little knock on. And once again, France doing so much good work, and then just little handling errors, undoing a lot of that good work, and somehow Fiji survive again.
Yeah, that'll frustrate their head coach once again. Some really good play mixed in just with the odd mistake at the end, and they let Fiji off the hook.
So 22 minutes remain. 2 points in it. You expect the French to clear, expect Fiji to clear very quickly here. Straight under the hooker's foot, I think, and I think they'll just get it out. Do they look to set up a couple of phases, or do they just kick for touch? They do have that wind behind them. So, the fly half, Annie May for Fiji. Well, France here, they'll be looking to walk over the top of the Fijians.
Fijian scrums have been better in the second half, but you can still see that dominance they are getting, especially through their tight head Labib. Boy, how good is she, how's she been? You know, we spoke about her.
Well, you know, often you look at the players that have the big physiques and you think, well, they're not going to last the 80 minutes. They just simply don't have the fitness because sometimes size, you compromise your fitness, but that hasn't been the case with her. She has been superb. And we are seeing, you know, on the men's side, the women's side, the bigger players, the big boppers, as I affectionately call them, you know, their aerobic capacity is remarkable. And so now, really good scrum, great clearance, really good exit from Fiji. Have they found touch? No, they haven't. So that is very French, isn't it? Now, do we see the try from the end of the world? Jean-Luc Sardonnay. Well, this is good from France. I just like at times to see the tackler just go to ground a little bit. Another bustling run, though. Romero. Oh, good ball handling. But, again, it's that midfield that has just been stalled all afternoon. Moulin, the centre for France. Happy to come back. The little goat here from Cordo. She can't go anywhere, but penalty. High tackle. Just discipline from Fiji. Now I wonder whether France call a scrum here.
Yeah, lineouts have been a little bit of a lottery. The safe option for the French, I think, is the scrum.
Or just bring.
Still having a bit of a discussion about it.
Possibly bring A. Labib in just give it to A. Labib, and they do. So pretty simple. She beats one. Look at the running ability of her, though. And she just draws 2 or 3 players and then uses their big rangy number 8 Ripon. And now Romero. This is good from the French. Big rangy number lock. Gasparot, the ball carrier, takes it into contact. Pleading for the penalty. Romero, the halfback for France. Gargou looks for the pass on the inside. Referee says that's okay. The left wing, we haven't seen a lot of Manet today. She does come in back on the angle, but comfortably wrapped up by the Fijians. And now Ane Uliak for France. Fiji got rights there by the looks of it, but referee says no, play on. Now, lovely little step, beats one. Now good hands here from the French. They draw 2-3 defenders. The cleaners get there quickly. Romero for France, good ruck ball. Ruck speed from the French. Fiji missed the first tackle. Happy to go direct through Lise Aracastere for France. Pleading for the penalty, the French. Referee says play on. Phase after phase for France, but Fiji knocking them back, wave after wave. And now A. Labib playing more on that hooking roll, comes down the short side. Lovely little pass back on the inside. Finds Meg Mombat, another one of the utility backs on for France. Romero, the replacement forward, Morel. Fiji, though, defensively very good. Maintaining their shape, the Fijians on defence. Rangy pass. Now, Gargou, the little chip and chase. Oh, that is superb. Great reflex action from the Fijian centre. Tuvo. And now Fiji, do they look to break out? In fact, they'll kick. But where do they kick to? It's a great kick. All France can do. Well, just shows the power of the wind. We didn't quite see it, but boy, you can just sort of see the impact that wind has, because that's pretty much went from the 22 to almost
Wow, what a play from the skipper, Kasanita Tuvo. Looks like she could play a little bit of cricket because it looked like one of those catches in the slips. And what a turnover from the Fijians. Boy, that'll deflate this French team.
Well, France had that opportunity in that first half with the wind behind them. But now, really hard kick here. They need to be smart, the French. Do they go short? Do they look for touch? Knowing that Fijians will get the line out throw. And they just go long. And that's a really good reset from the French. That's a great outcome for France. That is a really, really good piece of kicking from Emma Cordeau.
Yeah, this game right in the balance, isn't it? I think next scorer will be ever the advantage.
Yeah, Cordeau. Now, see what the Fijians do. 16 minutes remain. Good line out. Nicely worked off the top of the line out for Fiji. And good to see ball carrying front rowers in the women's game. Lovely little run coming from Solete Kaibong, the replacement forward for Fiji. And they need to get some support. Long rangy cutout pass, intercept, and that is the dangers. Now it's the French who look to try and break out. They look to try and straighten through their right wing. Karascape finally taken to ground. Karascape, French through Romaro, and now they look to try and go down the short side. Their French centre cuts back inside Moulin, looking for some runners, goes to ground. Fiji get there in numbers this time, but off their feet, I think, is the ruling, under advantage. So the halfback, Fanny Sinij, the replacement halfback. I'm assuming she's come on as a replacement halfback, the number 20. She's down here as replacement halfback. So Romero there still on the park. So interesting to see where Sinij is playing.
Yeah, it seems like she may have gone into one of those midfield positions or out to the left wing, because we haven't seen a lot of impact, especially from Stephanie Mayne today. Very quiet game from the rangy left winger.
Even Margia, the inside centre, has been quiet. And they are going to change out their front row. So Lee's out of Castere and Ait Lahib go off, and coming on for the French is Manon Leduc and Angeline Viado. I'm surprised that Labib has gone off. Boy, what a weapon she has been. So, big scrum now for Fiji. Lots of pressure. And good scrum from the Fijians. And the penalty goes the way of Fiji, and the crowd here are loving this at College Rifles. What a turnaround of fortunes. You replaced your two props in A. Labib and Ada Castre, and suddenly the ascendancy goes the way of the Fijians.
Well, it does make you wonder. Sometimes these preordained selections, some of those preordained selections that you see, Mark, on a rugby field, you know what? This is a game where you're either there or you're not going to be there for the big dance.
Yeah.
I reckon you leave your tight head prop out there for the full 80.
I agree. I think that sometimes changes are made for the sake of change rather than based on the way the game is progressing. You know, we've got women doing Ironmans and around the world and doing amazing endurance events. I'm pretty sure that these guys can play 80 minutes if need be. It's just shifting the mindset amongst the players as well. Now Fiji, this is where they've got to be careful. France, a little show and go from their very good fullback, Koto Bavalu. Oh, Fiji just been a little bit loose here. It'd be nice just to see. Now they've come out. They come out to the left. They've got some numbers. The little chip through. Chance here to try and turn the French backs around. Gorgu gets back, but she is absolutely monstered. No, she manages to step out of it. Good play from the French fullback. Referee says, was that high? We'll have to wait. French, though, get their cleaners there. Retain possession. Looking to just set it up. Who's going to clear for the French? Do they look to go one off? They do. Couple more phases, perhaps. They want to stay close to this sideline, though. And so, arm goes out. French under advantage. You'll come back, won't you, surely? Take the penalty, get the throw into the line out, which is what they will do. So Fiji just up offside.
Yeah, good little kicking option there from Fiji on that occasion. But once again, the brilliance of Marie Gorgu getting the French out of trouble, and enough good work through their forwards to get that penalty against the Fijians, who, boy, I'll tell you what, 12 minutes to go. This is the place they want to be playing the game.
They do. But you still, you know, look, I'm not a betting man. I mean, Las Vegas wasn't built on winners, Stephen Harris. But if you were putting your money on either team, I think both sides are probably paying $1.05, aren't they?
Yeah. There'd be a certain amount of risk if you had to throw some of your hard-earned coin on either of these sides.
And now, France. What can they do? Not offside again. Referee says, no, we're going to come back. And so, Fiji now have just got to maintain their discipline. They do lead this game. So, fine touch. A little bit nervy, I think, from the French fans here because they know how strong that wind is. So not a lot of distance on the kick, but more importantly, they do get the line out. I just wonder whether the better option for the French is just to take the scrum. That wind is so strong. And so that was a little bit messy from both sides, but it comes out. Another busting run. Gorgu, the French fullback, has been everywhere today. Another good little run from her. Now Romero. Oh, looking for the pass on the inside. Marginally forward, I would have thought, but referee says play on. And now Romero. In fact, I think we might just have a little chat to the Fijians. A number of penalties now for offside. I wonder whether he goes to the pocket shortly.
Yeah, I think that was pretty much an official warning. That was for offside.
I know how strong that wind is, Stephen Harris, but surely if they get a penalty anywhere close to the post, say 22 metres out, you've got to take the shot. You've got to take your chance.
I think so, because even if you miss the kick, you stay on attack.
Okay, big storming run from the replacement lock, Viadat, for France. But Fiji get there, they turn it over. No, back France. Oh, that pass probably didn't need to be made, but France regather through their very good captain, Cordia. So Cordia. Fijians are saying, hey, you want to run at us, you want to run into contact, we're more than happy to make the big hits, and they've been doing it all day. French just haven't really been able to make significant breaks. That's good play once again from Gorgu. Enterprising play. Found the pass to Mombate, but then Mombate, it was the next pass that went forward. Might just go back and see if we can have a look at the replay here, Stephen Harris.
Yeah, once again, maybe a pass that really didn't need to be made by the French on this occasion. Yep, that pass there, thought she would have been better advised to have taken the tackle or just dropped it off a little bit lower. I'm saying that player, had that pass been taken, she was through a gap. Well, it's been a tight, intriguing contest, hasn't it? Little give or take. I think little did this Fijian side know that when they put Australia away comfortable on day one, that they'd be playing in a semi-final in what would be a very tight contest.
Yeah, well, very well organised side, and they place a big emphasis on their police force, their army in Fiji, having been up there with the Sevens. You know, you'll have teams from the Yasawa Islands, and you'll have teams from, you know, Suva and Nandi, but two of the big teams up there are army and are police. And it doesn't surprise us. The thing is with Fiji, and maybe it's the conditions today, and with the greatest respect, they were brilliant against Australia in that first game. But they're winning ugly. But that's the scary thing about it. They're winning, and they're probably not playing their best rugby.
Listen, defensively today, they've been very, very good.
They were defensively very good against the United Kingdom. The United Kingdom had so much possession in the final of the pool matches, which was played on Tuesday earlier in the week. In fact, Friday last week, my apologies. And now Fiji using this wind and exiting nicely, getting themselves out of trouble. This time the French a little bit organised. Gorgou. Well, that was a forward pass, surely. But I'm not sure that any of the officials were back to see it, so French get away with one. And now they go the short side. Oh, brilliant from Romero, the halfback. Little just went down that short side. Fiji just got to be careful, make sure they do get their defenders around the fringes. And France just going nowhere. They do. Their captain decides to run at the line, but put back. Kudea. Oh, another big shot, but good run coming from the replacement prop, Manon Leduc. Ball is there for Romero. But France just simply not able to get significant metres over the advantage line. Now the Fijians, this is where they can break out. This is the moment the Fijians have been waiting for. The chance to show their hand. They go to ground though. Good decision making from the Fijian second 5/8 Tinai. Look to try and offload, but Romero, the French halfback, on her feet. And she turns it over, and that is brilliant from the French halfback. Superb from Jodie May. Romero. And now it is Fiji. The yellow card will come. Offside again. Referee has simply had enough. And it is the number 18, their replacement lock. Tolva Revolvo.
Oh, big turning point in this game. Fiji with a little bit of space. Perhaps that needed to be made. Fijian player going in there into that ruck.
But boy, Romero, she was good, wasn't she?
Oh,
in terms of getting to the down.
Great turnover, keeping her team in this game.
I think it might have been the number 16 there as well for France. Utility forward, Anaï Uliak. So 5-3. Have a look here. Huge scrum for the French. So much possession, so much of the play, but just haven't earned the valuable metres. Just haven't had that one player who's had the ability to just break this game open. And with 7.5 minutes remaining, it's going to require something a little bit different from the French. Big scrum coming from the Fijians, but they come off the back. So, a little bit of a knock on. Was that the ruling? It was. So, just a little bit of a fumble there from the big number 8, Clemens Reipen. See if we can pick this up again, Stephen Harris.
Well, another big moment. There's been a few of them in this contest. Opportunity though for Fiji to clear their half. I'd like to see them kick long into that right-hand corner and try and hem this French team back, but more important that they get the scrum right first.
Yeah, so They're very good number 15, their fullback, Kotabavalu, acting as halfback now. And that is what makes Fijian rugby so unique. They're just so multi-dimensional, the players. They can play anywhere. Good scrum. Comes out loose though, goes the way of Fiji. Take the direct route, straight back into heavy traffic. They love the contact. France. Nope. Little arm goes out and they put another big high kick up. This is good play from the Fijians. Oh, back on the inside. Fiji beat one. The runner back on the inside. Fiji and Flair at its finest. Are we about to see one of the great tries? They need numbers though. They don't get there. France, well, there's the referee rule here. He's surely not going to come all the way back, is he?
Yeah, may have been a knock on there. It's a late call from the sideline official.
Let's just have a wee look. Yeah, that I think definitely went forward, didn't it? In hindsight, initially it went backwards, but I think it was more because of the player moving forward. So good call from the assistant referee across that far side of the park. Just a reminder too, folks, that we will go inside both camps following this game, and then of course 1 o'clock this afternoon. Looking forward to that, the Battle of the Bledisloe. The Defence Ferns, the might of New Zealand, up against the might of Australia. The winner of that game to play the winner of this game. And at the moment, with 5 minutes remaining, that will be Fiji, unless France can find something. What do the French do here, Stephen Harris? How do they get down? How do they get within at least kicking range into a very tough breeze?
Well, that's the problem. It's a long way to go.
I'd like to see, I still would like to see Romero, somebody just kicking from the base of the scrum, putting it high, just put the back three for Fiji under pressure, under a swirling breeze. Make sure your chasers are there. Hope that you're going to force at least the knock on, possibly the turnover.
Interestingly enough, we've seen very little kicking or attacking kicking in this game, but when we have seen those kicks, they've been really effective. They've really been underutilised.
Well, I mean, Australia and New Zealand, I know both sides are watching this. They'll be playing on the same ground, same breeze. So they'll be assessing the situation. I'll tell you what, both playmakers, you know, you've got Australian first 5'8", and she's very good, and Sarah Reardon. New Zealand fly half, of course, Hayley Hutana. So, time running out for France. Another big scrum for them. I'll say, since we've seen Arakastre and A. Labib come off, Fiji have had just a little bit more ascendancy at scrum time. So this time the French looking to bring the runner in, almost get across, almost find the gap, but good metres gained. Come on, so France pleading the referee. Fiji looked a little bit up offside, referees noticed that and said yep. So France playing under advantage. Going through the French replacement, acting now, and so Florian Frogier happy to act as halfback. Zanige picks and goes, gets good support, go to ground now, still under advantage France. Trying to clear some bodies out, trying to create some space. They go down, arguably what is the short side, looks to cut back inside is Frogier. It's good phase play from the French. Now they managed to get inside Fiji's half, but not by a lot. Good driving run now from the replacement forward for France. Got to go quickly here, the French. They come out to the right-hand side. They're still under advantage. The big, long-ranging cut-out pass. Chance here now for the French. Finally, the Fijian defence comes across through their centre 2 vote. Tackle is made. This is better from France. Now they're in penalty territory. Pick and go. Get the French up offside. Take the 3 points. And they come out wide now to the left. They've got the overlap if they can score, but it can't go through their hands. It goes backwards. Referee says play on. Fiji don't get numbers though. And so France retain possession. And now the penalty. Options for the French. Another yellow card. This time it will be Carolina Vura. Or it might be Sevoya Raluvu. A high tackle, in fact, I think is the call. What do you do here, Stephen Harris?
Boy, I think you've got to keep it in hand. Fiji are down to 13, and you know you've got to back the numbers game.
Yep, and play it in the middle of the park and draw the defenders in, try and force the error at the breakdown. You know, Fiji have been guilty at times of not rolling away at the tackle. And that's exactly what they are going to do. So they've got to make sure they've got good hands here, the French. So they'll play it down that left-hand side of the park. And now they'll bring it back across into the middle. And this is good play from France. Remember, it was Fiji who did this against the United Kingdom the other day. Best chance of scoring, France. And now the penalty comes, and surely the 3 points will be taken. Surely the 3 points, and that is immediately the call coming from Gorgu. She says, take the 3 points. So this possibly to give France the lead, 6 points to 5 into a tough breeze. How much pressure now comes onto their captain, Emma Cordeaux. She missed a penalty earlier from a similar position at the other end of the park with the wind behind her. This arguably to win the game. There will be minutes of injury time. If you are watching this in France, settle back. Here we go. This arguably for a place in the final. Couder, the French captain. She kicks it. It's successful. It's France leading 6-3. Time is almost up on the clock.
From France. Bring their score to 6-5.
6-5 the score. My apologies. I said 6-3, 6-5. And now Fiji get play back underway. They look for the short kick-off, but France retain possession here. They just simply need to hold on to the ball. And they do. Another arm out. So Fiji penalised again. They'll be asking the referee how long left. How long left is the call? Take the scrum, run the clock down. Takes the quick tap. Oh, big tackle from the Fijians, driving the French back. Through another one of their big runners, the replacement forward, Viado for France. Fiji now not committing numbers to any breakdown, happy just to stand back around the fringes. See if they can somehow force the turnover. Tackle be made by the lockfoot Ravuvu for Fiji. Getting closer to the sideline, they'll be waiting for it. They kick it into touch. What does the referee say? The referee says it's all over. It's all over. And France have found a way. They will move into the final. It is France 6. It is Fiji 5 and a nail biter. The French have found a way. Well, commiserations must go to the Fijians, who for much of this game held the narrowest of leads. They were defensively brilliant. They shut down the French flair, they shut down the French backs, but in the finish was maybe just their discipline that cost them a place in the final, down to 13. And it was France who managed the penalty with around a minute to play. And look what it means to the French. Wonderful emotion. It is France 6, it is Fiji 5, it is France heading to next Tuesday's final in the first ever international defence rugby competition. They will play the winner of either New Zealand or Australia. And where there is elation, there is despair. Fiji, stand up, hold your head high. You've been simply superb. We'll get reaction from inside both camps. Well, you talk about small percentages in sport. There's a reason why you should never push the snooze button. It's 10 minutes a day, it's 70 minutes a week. It's those little things, not suggesting that the Fijians have pushed the snooze button at all. More just a metaphor about sometimes the difference can be the difference between a good sleep and a bad sleep. As we now go sideline with Stephen Harris.
Well, what a semi-final it was. It was tight, it was hard, and it came down to the last minute. Lock for France, Lisa Pontu. Congratulations, well done.
Ouais, ouais, ça a été un match très serré, très stressant jusqu'au bout. Félicitations à toi. Bon, un petit commentaire quoi.
Merci, c'était très très dur. On a eu peur jusqu'à la fin. Elles nous ont tenus jusqu'au bout. Très bon match à elles aussi.
Really tough. They did a hard game. They were really tough, and we were stressed out till the end of the game.
I was about to ask. You obviously were down with a couple of minutes to go. What were you thinking?
Well, donc on a été quasiment à deux doigts de le faire à la fin, mais il y avait beaucoup de stress. À quoi tu pensais à ce moment-là?
Je suis sortie moi. On a eu très très peur, c'est le vent. Le vent nous a beaucoup pénalisé. On n'a pas réussi à jouer avec le vent, ce qui a été très dommage parce qu'on a eu les mains sur le ballon tout le temps quoi.
Yeah. She says they had in the second half we had the wind against us, which was harder than to play. And she went out at 60 minutes. She didn't play the end of the game, but she was on the bench and very very stressed out. Yeah.
I mean to say, faith is obviously a really really big thing and a good team spirit in this French team.
Ouais, vous êtes des combattantes. Le combat c'est quelque chose d'important pour l'équipe de France.
Oui, c'est très important pour nous. On a besoin de se battre sur un terrain.
Yeah, the fight is very important. We need to fight on the field, and that's why we tried to do today.
Listen, congratulations and all the very best for the final.
Thank you.
Thank you.